I've hit live.
What
My
is up, you
hands
beautiful
have done it.
bastards? It is the Black Lantern Brooklyn Vale. It is 9:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means only one thing, that Take Night with Late 3 is live. I am the Vale host, Brooklyn. I fool foolish when I back talkwards. I want to go over to the panel of 3 Take members, starting with the Newberryest one, Cody Sucks. Sucks, Cody, how are you doing?
Okay. I'm done with the disrespect. I am a 5-time defending champion on your own show. And for you to treat me in this way is rude and disrespectful. But I'm so happy to be here with Malcolm, Sandy, and Matt. Brooklyn, slam your head in the door.
All right. Well, thank you, Newberry Cody, for the speech. Great. I'm gonna go to Canadian fellow Robinson Sandy. Robinson, how are we Sandy?
Good, Barry. I'm not going to try to do this. I will end up just sounding like a meatball because I am not good at talking backwards. I'm doing great, Brooklyn. I'm very happy to be here with this group of yahoos that we've come to know as our late night with Take 3 crew. I'm still a little disappointed that Malcolm's here because he's going to screw me over again tonight, but it's okay. I love Malcolm, so we got a lot to talk about tonight, though.
Devil of the speak and appear shall he. He is the Kiwi. Nah, I'm gonna give that up. He is the fellow Kiwi producer, man behind the scenes. Malcolm Goldie. Malcolm, how are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've got pen and paper so I can take notes this time, but yeah.
And last but definitely not least, fellow Take 3 member, the oldest Take 3 member, Vinny, I mean Kermit, I mean Tommy, I mean Greg, I mean Mash. Yeah, Mash. How are we doing?
Misa back. Yeah, I'm a man who his closet that his roommate barely pays rent for is always full of a lot of crazy people. It's fairly quiet tonight. Kermit and Vinny right now are watching the Expendables trilogy, and I think Vinny is crying at the scene when Stallone and Statham are having like a bromance moment. Vinny, are you crying? He totally is, Kermit said. What a bitch.
Oh, dear. Let's get right into it. We're going to play a game called if you watched the Twitch stream last week, Late Night After Dark, which was a hilarious show. It was me playing Lego Marvel while the other guys played 6 Degrees Separation. So for those of you who don't know how this works, one of us is going to name an actor who played actually, you know what, Matt, you brought up the game last time, so you explain the rules.
Okay, so the rules of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, don't know what this separation crap is. 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon works pretty easily. What happens is we go around the board. I'll start off. I say an actor who was in a movie with another actor or actress. Then when it goes to the person, let's say it goes me, Malcolm. Malcolm has to name, let's say I say Kurt Russell was in Sky High with Bruce Campbell. Malcolm has to say Bruce Campbell was in X movie with Y actor. Now, once a movie is played and an actor is played, you cannot reuse them. If you stumble or if you can't get something, you're out. However, if you're somehow able to get Kevin Bacon from something, you get a save. However, the person starting can't start with Kevin Bacon was an X movie with Y actor because that's just fucking cheating. So, it's pretty simple.
Well, because Cody complains about being after me every time, the order is going to be as follows. Courage is going to ask Sandy, who is going to ask myself, who is going to ask Malcolm, who is going to ask Cody. Champion, are you happy with this order?
As long as Malcolm doesn't give me no damn New Zealand actor, we'll be good.
All right, Courage, kick it off.
Wait, what's the order?
Sandy.
Oh, me to say. Okay, I'm sorry. I was doing other work for the channel, if you guys know what I mean. So I'm sorry, I wasn't quite paying attention. Okay, so let's see. Well, I'll just reverse the one that I used. Bruce Campbell was in Sky High with Kurt Russell.
Okay, so then I have to do Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell was in a
with,
movie.
Okay.
With someone.
Okay, so Kurt Russell was in a movie with.
No,
Chris.
you have to say what the movie is. You have to say what the movie is.
Okay. So Kurt Russell was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with Chris Pratt.
Brooklyn.
No, it's Malcolm. Oh no, sorry, it is me.
No.
You said Chris Pratt, right?
I did, yes.
Okay, so Chris Pratt was in Moneyball with Jonah Hill.
Ooh,
Good poll.
Nice.
Jonah Hill was in Superbad with Emma Stone.
Emma Stone was in La La Land with Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling was in Blade Runner 2049 with Harrison Ford, the GOAT.
Harrison Ford was in Star Wars with Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill was in Batman: Mask of the Phantasm with Kevin Conroy.
And I'm out.
All right, so Cody, now you have to try and use Kevin Conroy.
I have to.
Yep, that's how the game works.
I think I start fresh. I don't remember that being a rule.
No.
Why would somebody be out and then I have to be out too? That's not fair.
That's how the game works, buddy.
You don't know how it works.
They're arbitrary rules that I like to enforce.
Yeah, I get that.
So,
I don't know. Give me.
Can I give Cody one?
No. Okay. Listen. To make it fair, because Kevin Conroy is a little bit of a funky.
Well, I know one.
Start fresh. We can start.
You know.
Listen. If someone's out, let's just start fresh. It makes it a little bit easier on everyone.
Was he in Killing Joke? Because I know who voices.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I know who voices Commissioner Gordon, but I'm not sure. But if we're starting fresh, we'll start fresh.
We can start fresh. I like to play my 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon a little bit Kevin Bacon style, a little bit hardcore.
Does Ray
we don't
Weiss
do this
play
stuff.
Commissioner Gordon?
Fuck if I know.
In Killing Joke?
I saw the movie once. Get the fuck up.
Let me check.
Wait, you can't look it up.
Yeah. The Killing Joke was theatrically released.
I can do the fact checking because I'm out. So
yeah, you can do the fact checking, but you can't tell him.
I wasn't going to tell him.
Works.
I can.
Matt, what happened was I was asking a question. They were fact checking.
Okay. I thought we were still okay. We're starting.
Are we starting fresh?
Yes, let's just start fresh because now I'm just confused. I'm doing two things. I'm playing this game while also doing my secret job from before. Fuck. Damn you, Kevin Bacon, wherever you are.
Okay.
Fuck you.
Okay. The views expressed by Matt Kearns do not represent the views of Take 3 Productions. We think Kevin Bacon is a great actor.
No. As the oldest member of Take 3 officially says, fuck Kevin Bacon. I will now go into the Twitter and tweet that. Does Kevin Bacon have a Twitter?
He probably does.
John Travolta was in Grease with Olivia Newton-John.
Using Sandy's posters? I like it.
Really good.
And now it goes to Kearns.
Oh, shit. Olivia Newton-John was in... I know movies she's been in. God knows if I know an actor from it, though. Olivia Newton-John was in... I'm gonna just... You know what? I'm just gonna take a guess here. Olivia Newton-John was in Xanadu with... Richard Dreyfuss. I don't know.
Why is Richard Dreyfuss always the person that people make?
He was in a lot of movies. Fuck you. What movies has she done with people?
Can you fact check that, Malcolm? If
I'm on it.
If Richard Dreyfuss was in Xanadu, I swear to God, I didn't watch the one-on-one interview yet. Did Xanadu come up at all?
Gene Kelly's in Xanadu, but
Gene Kelly is in Xanadu.
Richard Dreyfuss was not in Xanadu.
Fuck
all
that.
Right, Sandy gets to start fresh.
All right, Sandy starts fresh.
This is some horse shit right here. Fuck you, Cody.
All right. Okay. The hardest part about this game is trying to find something that's going to screw somebody else over. So, but
I love how that's not the purpose of the game here, guys. It's supposed to just be fun. It's not supposed to be intentionally screwing people over.
I just didn't think about screwing. I thought you'd maybe pull somebody. I forgot how little she was in.
Olivia Newton.
That's what she said.
All right. I'm going to say John Boyega was in Star Wars The Force Awakens with, let's say, Daisy Ridley.
Okay, so Daisy Ridley was in Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, with Adam Driver.
Wow, guys, good job. Adam Driver.
Yeah, I forgot to say that franchise rule, so that's on me.
Yeah, you screwed me. That's okay. Adam Driver was in Silence with. Holy shit! I just blanked.
I wish I could help Cody right now. I wish I could help him because I know what he's thinking and I know who he's thinking of.
Can you stop playing music when I'm trying to think? Because I hate music in general.
Unfortunately, he's trying to help you, Cody.
Oh, yeah, valid. Andrew Garfield. Damn it.
So it goes back to me?
It goes to Sandy.
Oh, yeah, it goes to Sandy.
I'll tell you.
Okay, so we ended on Andrew Garfield?
Yeah.
Okay, so Andrew Garfield was in Hacksaw Ridge with... there's so many people in that movie. Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington was in Sam Worthington was in Avatar with Stephen Lang.
Ooh.
Stephen Lang was in. I know he's in. Don't Breathe. Right? Is that the Terminator that's in that movie? Pretty much. Who's that girl? Or who's that guy? Yeah, I'm out. I can't pull it.
All right. So Cody's out, which means I guess Sandy starts fresh.
I love starting fresh.
I think you're thinking of Anya Taylor-Joy, Cody.
What was it?
Thanks for bringing pain in my life. I couldn't have picked freaking Tombstone.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Okay.
That would have been better.
I hate when I lose.
All right. Let's say, you know what? I'm gonna go off of Emma Stone was in. I can't use Emma Stone.
She was already used. Emma Stone was in Ryan Gosling and La La Land. You're trying to pick somebody else, but you just can't.
Okay. Well, Jamie Foxx was in Baby Driver with John Hamm.
John Hamm was in The Town with Blake Lively.
Great movie.
Man,
love that movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
I now hate that movie because you like it.
Okay, so
yeah, I still love it.
Wait, what?
Blake Lively was in The Shallows with what's the name of that guy? God, I know where he's from. I know what movie I know him from. It's Oscar. Is it like Oscar Janeda?
Good luck with that. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, that's who it is.
Dick move that one is.
Oh yeah, but see, I have one that I can go from him because I know him from another movie. So
yeah,
Wait.
that's accurate. Good luck with that.
Wait a second. Olivia Newton-John over here.
yeah.
Okay, I can at least know who the face is. I couldn't even tell you who this guy is.
Yeah, Sandy, you win. I have no idea who Oscar Janeda is.
He's actually been in some.
Oscar Janeda, he was the sniper in The Losers, part of the Losers group.
Oh.
He's also in
Cody and me is my favorite. Playing 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is my favorite thing to have on live show in a while.
All right, we got a little bit of time. We'll do another round, but we'll go in reverse order. So Sandy, since you won, you're gonna start. So we'll go Sandy to Kearns, then Cody to Malcolm, then me.
Oh man, okay. All right. So it's me starting. Okay, so let's go. Rob Lowe was in Youngblood with Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze was in The Outsiders with Ralph Macchio.
Nice.
I don't like playing against old people.
I'm younger than you.
You don't act like it. Ralph Macchio is in probably my favorite comedy of all time. Ralph Macchio was in My Cousin Vinny.
Nice.
With Joe Pesci.
Great.
Who'd you say, Cody?
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci.
Am I funny? Am I a clown? Am I here to amuse you?
Me and my friend literally did that routine during U.S. Cultures today.
Joe Pesci was in Goodfellas.
Yes, he was.
With... Fuck, I just watched this the other day. I cannot remember the damn actor's name in it.
That will be a watch along.
What did you say, Malcolm? I couldn't hear.
I blanked on any other actors in it.
What? Wow. Okay, so
I just watched the other day. I cannot remember.
De Niro.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta.
Oh, Ray Liotta, but De Niro.
Take Three's live broadcast has been shut down due to technical difficulties of Malcolm again.
Sandy just got a no vote in the debate round.
I figured I'm getting a no vote anyway, so I might as well, just get my.
Might as well go the whole 9 yards with this.
All right, so that means I get to start fresh.
It means yes.
Okay, so okay, I got one. So I'm gonna ask Sandy. So Eugene Levy was in Over the Hedge with Thomas Hayden Church.
Shit, really?
Thomas Hayden Church was in Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire was in The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio was in The Revenant with the Bison Heart. Oh, I mean Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy was in...
You can't use
okay. Tom Hardy was in The Dark Knight Rises with Marianne Cotillard.
That was your dick move the other night.
What? Marianne Cotillard.
You'll know her if you saw her. Like it's.
I think I know a movie with her. I'm just not sure if I have. I know the person she's with. I just don't know if I have the movie.
She's in
title
a lot of good ones.
Correct. Yeah, she's a good actress.
I wish I could say one right now.
I can actually think of two. Oh shit!
An Oscar-winning one.
Ooh. I just watched this movie. She's in that one. Oh my god.
Oh shit!
Okay. I gotta remember her actual name now. Marianne Cotillard
Out.
is in Inception with Ellen Page.
Oh, okay. That's a goodie. Ellen Page was in Juno with J.K. Simmons, which I still say is his best role.
J.K. Simmons was in Zootopia with who do I want to use? Shakira would be a dick move, so I'm going to say Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman was in The Gift with Joel Edgerton.
Joel Edgerton was in Loving with Ruth Negga.
Ruth Nega's Rutabagas.
That's right. Ruth Nega's Rutabagas.
That's the only fucking place I know Ruth Negga from. That's the only thing I know her from. Well, she's in Ruth Negga was in a sketch on the Josh McCougar show with Elliot Newberry.
All right, so back to the three usual suspects. Cody gets to start fresh, and he asks me. So,
The only thing I
Tom
knew
Cruise was in the most overrated movie of all time, A Few Good Men.
Oh.
With I'm just kidding. With Nicolas Cage. Not Nicolas Cage.
No, you fucked up. You're out.
No.
That's okay. It's okay.
That would have been a much better. I'm sorry. Can
It
we
was
pause
Jack
for a second?
Nicholson. I hate
Imagine that
It's okay.
scene. You want answers? I want the truth.
I think I'm a tight little.
Hand of truth.
I can't believe I said that.
All right, here goes.
All right, Nicholas. So it's back to me and Sandy.
Yep.
So I will go off of Nicholas Cage was in Ghost Rider with Eva Mendes.
Eva Mendes was in Hitch with Will Smith.
Will Smith was in Concussion with Alec Baldwin.
Oh, that's a good one. Alec Baldwin was in Beetlejuice with Gina Davis.
Gina Davis was in Stuart Little with Hugh Laurie.
Oh shit, yo.
Hugh Laurie, that's a good one.
Oh shit, I just thought of one.
Why do you guys go to so many freaking animated movies?
Because animated movies are fantastic.
And they have a lot of people in them.
That you don't know.
Wait, also Stuart Little was in
Was
Foley
live
animated.
action.
Just
Hugh Laurie played the dad.
Yeah.
I believe the third one was animated though.
Yeah, but no one gives a shit about the third one.
Right.
Oh,
No offense.
okay.
What?
I was like, that's my favorite.
Wait, well,
There were 3 Stuart Littles?
Yeah.
Guys.
All right. Hugh Laurie was in Tomorrowland with George Clooney.
okay,
What?
George Clooney was in
Ocean's 11.
I'm not saying that because then you George Clooney was in Batman and Robin with Chris O'Donnell.
Oh wait, no, there's one you can do though.
There is. And I'm going to be a total dick too.
Sandy.
Yep. Be Dick. Be a 2-time champ.
No. I don't mean a dick like that, but I mean, Chris O'Donnell was in Batman Forever with, let's say, let's say, let's go Drew Barrymore.
Okay, so the Drew Barrymore was in. What the fuck is his name? Oh man.
Out. There's no actor name. What the fuck's his
He's
name?
got some time.
I mean,
There's plenty of options.
I can think of a dick one you can do for that one.
Yeah, of course you could, Malcolm.
Drew,
You know what? I was gonna make a joke, but
Yes.
Malcolm's my friend, so I'm not.
This
going to.
rivalry now between Sandy and Malcolm is now my new favorite thing. I think
Rivalries are building on this live
Okay,
show.
so Drew Barrymore was in Charlie's Angels Full Throttle with Crispin Glover.
Good lord, guys.
Of course, that creepy guy was in a Charlie's Angels movie.
Of course he was. That makes perfect sense.
Was he the creepy guy at the beach staring at them or something?
Hello, ladies.
Crispin Glover was in Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox was in. Ooh.
Sound like Val Venus.
Oh my god.
Okay, I've already got one for Michael J. Fox. So
Congratulations. Secondary. Michael J. Fox was in
Don't do the cheat.
Teenage Wolf with Richard Dreyfuss. I don't know.
I'm gonna stop right there. Besides, the movie was
First
named
off,
Teen Wolf,
you were
not
out.
Teenage Wolf. Anyway,
out because the name of the movie is actually Teen Wolf, and whoever you said is not in that movie.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard
Not in
Dreyfuss
that.
is not in that movie.
All right, cool. So that
Whatever
puts
happened to the actor who played Styles from that movie? I really want to know. I want to look him up. If I find the actor who played Styles in that movie, can we try and get an interview with him on the live show?
You could have went. Michael J. Fox was in The Secret of My Success with Helen Slater.
I never even heard of that movie.
Helen Slater was in Supergirl with. I could have went on for a while. So
yeah. Well, like Sandy is like a bottle of wine, just gets better with age. That is a compliment. The greatest wines and distilled alcohols are better aged. So with that,
old Sandy,
I'm calling him experienced. Good sir. So I'm trying to rain on everybody's parade here. We're not Boston in the early 2000s. Oh, is that for me? Oh.
Yeah, the balloon flew away. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right, guys. So Sandy won both games, so congratulations to Sandy. We are going to move in now to press conference. So we decided behind the scenes that Cody is going to be holding a press conference today, but the stipulation is he has no idea what his character is and whatnot. So the other panelists are going to be asking questions to figure so that he can figure out what he is announcing. I want to just confirm with Malcolm, Sandy, and Kearns that they got the message that I sent them.
Yes, I got the message. It's good message. It's good. It will be nice.
It's very good.
It's very good. You know, gabagool. No, thank you.
All right. So I will start. Cody, call this press conference to order.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm going to answer questions now. This press conference is open.
All right.
Sir, I'm not talking to you. You didn't raise your hand. Sir in the Superman shirt. What do you have for me?
Hi, I'm Matt Kearns from Hot Takes for just the sake of having a different opinion.com. I guess the first. Thank you so much. My first question, I guess, would be is how do you prepare for something like this?
What I always do is I practice eating about 13 dozen eggs in the morning so I can be built like a barge. Then, I can just move on with my days with some squats and some beers at lunch. Yeah, that's pretty much how I start my morning, my day every day to get prepared for whatever I'm doing. Brooklyn, sorry, I don't know your name, but you over there from that Canadian affiliate that I don't like, your fake news, can I talk to you?
Yes, Seymour Butts from the Springfield Bugle. The question is, what led you to this decision? Like, this is a pretty big decision.
You know, I just wake up in the morning every day, and I think that I can be the best I can be. So I woke up and said, you know what? I'm going to grab this by the horns and take it on. And that's what I do. That's what I do every day. So I took it, and I'm proud of my decision. Oh, hello. You with the bandana. I like your style.
Yeah, this is Sandy from the Canadian Times in the West.
Okay.
And my question is, what are you doing to prepare for the weather?
You know, just like anybody else does, prepare for the weather. I watch the Weather Channel about 24/7. I go out, I clip some grass, and throw it in the air, see what the wind's blowing, look at the sky, fart and see who smells it first, you know, just like that. That's how I check out the weather, see what it is. Sir, with the hoodie and the glasses, I think you're from New Zealand. How you doing?
Yeah, Malcolm from New Zealand media. Are you looking and following in the footsteps of a certain dynasty or foundation?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what the hell you just told me. Sure, yeah, I'm looking to follow in those footsteps of all those people. Yo, Superman, what's up?
So, I'm just wondering, do you have any regrets on your past decisions that have led to this decision?
I don't really regret anything in my life. I wake up in the morning and piss excellence. That's what I do. I don't really know why I would regret anything because I'm pretty much the best out there. So yeah, you in that stupid Deadpool shirt. Sir,
Hi. Follow-up question. Your flannel coat, will it be red or blue?
I'm a big fan of red. Red socks, red everything. Yeah. I like flannel. It's pretty sweet. Makes me look cool. So I'll continue with that. Anybody else got questions? Superman?
Follow question to that. Have you stocked up on denim yet? Or are you waiting till you arrive?
I always wear denim.
There.
I make sure I have denim with me at all times. That's the most important thing. That and a flannel shirt. Yes, New Zealand Times or whatever you're from. Where you got
Are you prepared to try any of the crazy culinary crossovers?
I eat anything. I'll try anything once. But I would really like you guys to ask more questions that actually pertain to who the hell that bandana. Go bandana.
What do you feel about livestock?
Oh, livestock's important. I think that's a crucial part of everybody's day. Am I Paul Bunyan? No, apparently not. I'll go to the Deadpool guy.
Hi. Next question. Have you packed any boots, or are you just packing a boot?
I'm a Canadian traveling for somewhere. Is that correct?
You're okay. Should we give it to him?
Am I like a
No, let me just get my question in here.
Okay,
let me just
sorry,
get my
yeah,
Yeah, Superman, go ahead. Yeah.
So I think this is the last question
important.
for the night, and I really, really think this is a good one to end on, sir. You seem awfully agitated in this press conference. Do you think you need to drop that before you get to where you're going?
No, I'm angry where I go, but apparently I'm a pleasant Canadian guy traveling somewhere to eat some culinary crap. Am I staying with Brooklyn Vale in Canada?
Close enough.
No worse.
You are moving to Canada.
Oh hell no, I'm not. People said that when Donald Trump was elected. No, thank you. Did you see how much snow? Did you see how much snow Sandy got? I'm out. Please.
Yeah. Snow. Oh man, snow is the greatest. Winter is second to fall in the best seasons.
Winter's coming.
School, it's the best. You're like, yes, snow day. Now it's an inconvenience. I have money to.
No, I still love snow.
Snow was great until I got a car, and then I hated it because even when I didn't have school, it still meant getting up and having to dig my fucking car out.
Oh man, try working at 5 a.m. after like 3 feet of snow and having to dig your car out.
Do like the most typical like Canadian things, flannel and boots and denim. Like, come on! I was just like,
I love the denim one.
And then you said livestock, and I was just like, okay, am I Paul Bunyan? Do I have a freaking thing?
What was the voice you were putting on? I'm just wondering at the start. We're like, hey, everybody, I'm
Nicholas Cage called. He wants his bad accent back.
Yeah, I'm here for a press conference there.
I just didn't want to do like the normal talking, so that's why I just...
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you would have picked up on my slight reference to the Hart Dynasty and the Hart Foundation.
Oh, yeah. That all makes sense now.
Why do you think I started laughing when Malcolm said that? I was like, okay, that's
terrible. They're terrible.
That's done.
I don't like the Hart Foundation. I just did that to see the Canadians about to explode their head. Are you kidding me?
Oh, listen, I got a story. I got a story about the Hearts after the feed. I won't say it online, but
oh shit!
Ooh, I'm excited for that.
All right, guys. So that actually takes us right into the news. We have Matt Kearns and his assortment of roommates or forced guests, depending on how you. All right, cool. So he is gathering the fellow people at his. I guess it's a party every Thursday. Because I can't imagine Kermit and Vinny are there every single day. Otherwise, it'd be hell.
They stay in their closet, I think.
It's hell.
Yeah. It is hell. How do you survive?
By very little rent checks every week.
Drugs.
Well,
drugs are Sandy, drugs are bad, okay? Drugs are bad.
Okay.
They're bad.
They're bad. But you know propane accessories? Oh. Yeah. No. Thought I'd try a head kill and see what had happened there. So the cool kids in the chat.
Cody's changed his mind. He is going to move to Canada now that he knows that in just a short week and a half, the whole country will be marijuana legal.
Oh yes, so, October 17th.
So I mean, Cody's making his travel plans right now.
You muted Matt or Vinny or whoever.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn Miller's got you too drunk. You don't know how to mute button.
Vinny. Somebody's got to go to Vinny's place and teach him how to run a computer.
There's a mic button you got to hit unmute on Vinny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was finishing talking to my homie Kermit over there. I also didn't want to hear your stupid shit, Red Sox over there. Come on. So, yo, what's up, guys? It's Vinny here. I'm here not with the fantasy update, but I'm with the news. I'm like Kenny Knapsack over here, except like 400 times cooler and all that. So, what's up? So let's get this shit started, shall we? So first up, this little guy, his name is Jonathan Kreisel. He's going to direct a Sesame Street movie, which, you know what? If you give me a second, I'm going to get my homie Kermit to comment on this. Hey guys, it's Kermit the Frog here, and apparently there's a Sesame Street movie, and I was told nothing about. I want my fucking royalty check, okay? Shit's mine. The homo. I think they're both over there. Big Bird, he owes me some money, okay? Bye, everybody. Hey. Yeah, that's right. Kermit's a fucking G over there, okay? So, Nick, who the fuck wrote this? I don't live in a trailer park. I live in a closet. Gee, get your shit together. But apparently some pretty fucking cool trailers dropped. Not one of them was Creed 2, because that shit already dropped. But we got trailers for Holmes and Watson. That's a book I was supposed to read in high school, but I didn't. Mostly because I only went to high school for like a month. Then we got Rocket Man, which I think was something that Will Shatner sang after he got high on some drugs in the 70s. Then we got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, another fucking comic book movie. That's all we need. Then we got Vice, you know. I think that's Miami Vice, the movie. And then The Mole, you know. It's the fucking Mole, you know, the Mole. Everybody knows The Mole. Mole's a pretty cool guy. He's pretty cool. Very cool. Next, we got Atlanta Battle Angel, pushed back to February 14th, 2019. Or as I like to call it, every year, the day that Matt cries like a little bitch because he's alone. Next, we got Dark Phoenix being pushed back to June 7th, 2019. I don't give a shit, and according to Twitter, no one else does either. Then we got Gambit. Why the hell are they still trying for that movie? Pushed back to 2020. These freaking comic book movies. All you nerds on this panel, why you still go and see this shit? Talk to a girl. God. There's also apparently a PG-13 release of another comic book movie releasing on December 21st. Possibly trying to get it released in China. Who the fuck cares about China? USA all the way. And I'm saying that specifically to the Canadians and the New Zealand. Zealand? I don't care. Then we got, I'm not, okay, something about some Charlie's Angels movie. I'm not even trying to say that name for God's sakes. But, what is this? Then we got Sam Catherine. What are these fake names? Did you give me fake names? Dear God. Oh, here we go. Okay, we got Ansel Elgort. He's headlining West Side Story remake, although I think I should be in it. I think an actual New Yorker should star in a movie about New York. Just saying. Then we got Madison Iseman. She's in Annabelle 3. I didn't know there was an Annabelle 1 or 2. Then we got, oh man, this kid, Alex Wolff. He joins Bad Education, the movie, which Matt jokingly said off camera. That could also be titled The Vinny Story. Fuck you, Matt. Then we got, oh man, George Carlin. He's getting a biopic made out of him. I'm definitely going to be in that movie because we're going to shoot in New York. And George Carlin, rest in peace. He was OG. He was OG. Okay. Next, we got a live action Lilo and Stitch movie in the works. There was a previous movie called Lilo and Stitch, apparently. Okay. Then we got Michael Chafe. Is this another fake name? James Wan? What the is that? Okay, you know what? Let's just go to the real story everybody cares about, which is that there are 7 new cast members for Top Gun 2. Top Gun 2 is going to be awesome. It's not going to be as awesome as Creed 2, unless, of course, Stallone is cast in Top Gun 2. Then it has a contender. So that's pretty much it. That's your freaking news with me, Vinny. Y'all can follow me at Vinny Stallone 76 on Twitter and check me out every Monday on the Summit. That mother effer Abe, I'm gonna come and find you and beat your ass till it's red like an apple. But seriously, guys, Vinny Stallone 76 on Twitter. I tweet a lot of cool shit. All right, but peace out, losers.
Did anybody else hear Top Cone? Like the. It did not sound like any form of English, but yeah, I want to elaborate first on actually the trailers because this is actually a rare week where I watched 3 of them. I watched the best one for me was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man Noir, voiced by Nicolas Cage, and motherfucking Peter Porker, Spider-Pig. I think that is going balls deep into the Spider-Verse, so I'm excited for that. The Vice trailer, I'm excited for, but I'm excited for the supporting cast. As George said, I think from that trailer, it looks like it's going to be a spot-on job. I'm also excited for Steve Carell for the Donald Dunsford, whatever the hell character he's playing. I'm not sure if I'm super excited on Christian Bale as Dick Cheney. I don't see it quite yet. And then the Holmes and Watson trailer. I love Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, but I don't want this movie. Why are we getting this movie and not Sherlock Holmes 3, the Guy Ritchie one? I think it's just an odd choice. And then the George Carlin biopic, I'm super excited that is announced. George Carlin is my second favorite stand-up comic ever. With Jammin' in New York, I think is one of his best stand-up routines. But I'll pass it over. I'll go to Malcolm first. Malcolm, what's the news that's set up for you this week?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the trailers I actually really enjoyed the Holmes and Watson trailer, and I do like the idea of a comedy version of it, because we are getting a Sherlock Holmes 3 later. It is apparently in the works, but I mean, this is an interesting thing. Plus, it's got a cameo from Braun Strowman in it as well, which is something I didn't actually know when I first heard about the movie. And the George Carlin biopic is interesting, and as an interesting casting choice, depending on what stage of his life they pick. Robert Parker's favorite actor, John Lithgow, could possibly pull off big George Carlin. That could be an interesting choice. And I mean, the other one is there's been a whole lot of stuff about all these dates moving, like with Dark Phoenix and that. It's like, well, I mean, they probably, for moving it back could be a good thing, because it could mean they want to work on them and make them better than what they've got. And I mean, a lot of people going, oh, they're moving it, so it must be a bad omen. But realistically, I think it's more because they want the movies to be as good as they can be.
Yeah. Sandy, I'll go to you next. What is the news that every this week? And I actually we forgot to mention. I know this is in movie news, but Jon Favreau's midichlorian Star Wars thing, something along those lines.
Why would you bring it up? Now we're going to be ranting on it.
Well, I figured they were going to be going on about it, so I'll just get my sign ready, and then you guys can conclude.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to talk about the Star Wars the Star Wars news at all, because there's so much other news that I'd like to touch on. Just basically, you guys really covered a lot of it already. But the two things that really stuck out for me are the date changes for the two Sony or Fox projects. I believe they're both Fox, right?
Yeah.
The pushbacks, yeah. So.
Yeah.
I really don't know what's going on with Fox right now. Like, are they still selling their catalog? Has that deal gone through? What's going on? Are they pushing these back because the sale is blah 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 blah? I'm at the point where I just don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care. I was one of the people that actually didn't mind the Dark Phoenix trailer that came out. I got a little bit stoked up for it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is good. It looks good. At least they're going about it the right way this time, instead of the stupid way they went in with The Last Stand. And I know it's just a trailer, and a trailer doesn't make the movie. And we see so many trailers nowadays that but pushing it back and then doing the exact same thing to another one of your properties, I start to smell DC on, the DC stink on things, and it's troubling to me that all these movies are getting pushed back. Malcolm, you might be right, and I hope that you are, that it's a good thing that they're trying to make it awesome, to make sure, if you're going to take an extra 6 months or so to make sure the special effects look bang on, fine. You're still going to get my money. I'm still going to go and see it. The other thing I wanted to talk about is Brooklyn talked about it. He is my favorite comedian of all time. I missed out seeing him 3 weeks before he passed away, and it's a tragedy that I didn't get to see him. I love all of his comedy specials, but George Carlin is absolutely somebody that you could make a biopic. He's had such a amazing career, not just in comedy, but in movies. Think about like all the movies that he's been in, where he's scene steals everything every time he's on screen. So, I miss his comedy. I miss the fact that he's around. He was one of the first real comedians that came out and said it how it was and screw everybody. I mean, everybody knows, 7 words you can't, 7 swear words you can't say on television, and he said them all. It was the first time I'd ever heard some of the real big ones. I mean, you always hear the F-bomb or the S-bomb and stuff like that, from your parents and stuff like that, but come right out and hear something like motherfucker and shit like that was amazing when I was a kid. It was just so awesome, especially because I was, well, I'm not going to talk about that guy, but I, listened to his record too. But it was, I hope it's going to be good. I hope they get the right actor, and I hope they do a young version of and get somebody new, and get somebody new that we haven't seen before, somebody that could pull it off. We'll see what happens, but those are the ones that really stood out to me this week.
Yeah, that's actually going to be a discussion point later. We're going to try and think about like who to cast as George Carlin. But Matt Kearns, what is the news that stood out for you this week?
Okay, if we're gonna do that later, then I'll save my casting for George Carlin later, because I love George Carlin. I grew up. I didn't quite grow up when he was huge. I'm trying to remember the year he passed away, but like, still,
8, I think.
Yeah, all right. But I was 11 when he passed away, so I wasn't watching stand-up comedians like that. But still, I mean, Dogma was the first time I was ever introduced to him, which was a great introduction. He's amazing in that movie as Father Glick, and then the little cameo he has in Jane and Silent Bob. Still, every time I'm on like a long car trip, I always think of the unwritten book of the road, which if you've seen Jane and Silent Bob Strike Back, you know what I mean. So yeah, that movie, as long as the cast, which the person I have in mind, I think could do a really good job with. But I'm a huge Top Gun fan. I love that movie. I've always said that Top Gun is one of the most important action movies of the 1980s. I'm so happy we're getting a sequel. So I don't even know who some cast members are. I just need this movie to come out like now, because I love this movie. Also, I have a theory about Dark Phoenix, and this sort of came when I was watching Collider Live, because they were talking about it getting moved back to that summer, and it's a packed summer. Here's my thing. I think they don't have faith in this movie. I think they're moving it to packed summer. That way, when it fails, they don't blame it on the quality of the movie. They blame it on like, well, what did you expect? Look at what it was up against. That's just me with my little tinfoil hat when it comes to moving it to that summer. That's just me with my little tinfoil hat. So yeah. Also, I didn't really watch any of the trailers this week, so.
I mean, it is a good thing to point out. Like, how many more people are they going to add to this Maverick movie? I mean, I'm looking forward to it no matter what, because I think it's going to be fantastic. But
I mean, you once you casted Kilmer, I didn't give a shit who else was in this movie.
Yeah.
You gave me Kilmer and Cruz. I mean, I would have loved Mike Ironside, but as we heard on Claire Live, he's not going to be in it, so that's all I need.
All right,
Fat Kilmer.
Cody has been waiting patiently. Cody, what is the news that stood out for you this week?
I will promise not to rant too long, but there's quite a few that caught my interest, so I'm just going to talk on some briefly and then one for a little bit extended. Spider-Verse trailer, I love it. Exactly what I want. I think that's a great move for Sony, to be honest, because they can't seem to. Apparently, Venom's not off to the best start. Again, go see it for yourself, see your own opinion, but it is what it is. I'm not a big fan of villain-based movies. That makes no sense to me. On certain expense, maybe, but no. Dark Phoenix pushed back. I think it's a stupid move. I really do. But I'm kind of with you on that. If it bombs, it's going to be over. It's going to be over in the MCU camp, and they're going to have to reboot it anyways. So at this point, they're going to get all the contractual. They're going to get the people that are contracted for the movies that they were signed on for, and then push them out. That's basically what I think. Gambit, good lord, blow that thing up. I don't even understand why that's going to be a thing. What was it? West Side Story. I'm okay in Spielberg's hands. I love West Side Story. I think it's a very underrated musical, even though it won Best Picture. But it's like over time, not many people still talk about it. Two things, last few. What was it? George Carlin biopic. I am terrified of. I'm just going to brutally honest and say it. Carlin is my favorite comedian. His timing is almost unmatched. How he said stuff. I still watch it to this day. I watch his stand-up. I find it so funny and so comedic. And when he goes on his rants,
Oh, so good.
and he didn't stop for audience. He didn't stop anything. He wanted to say what he wanted to say, and if he didn't get it, well, fuck you. That's what he basically said. He doesn't care. The one that I'm utterly just sad. I'm sad, and it's the Lilo and Stitch live action. I have no idea why. I don't get the concept. It's just cash grabs at this point. You can't. I think Lilo and Stitch still ranks up there for me as one of the most underrated ones because it's probably one of my favorites with quotability because I find it super funny, especially the little girl that plays Lilo. I think it's do you know what discipline? Did she ever discipline you? Oh yeah, like 5 times a day, sometimes with a brick. Like, it's always one of those funny lines with me. And, like, when she gets out and says, I can't feed him a tuna sandwich? That's an abomination. Like, those are just moments that I don't think you can capture. And I think it's going to be very off-putting to put that in Hawaii. And then this CGI blue thing is, like, crawling on top of her. And, like, that's cute in a cartoon, not in live action. I want to stay far away from this movie. I think if next is going to be Emperor's New Groove, and I'm going to lose all faith in everything. As long as they bring David Spade
I don't want to
back
see a CGI
and
llama.
make him the llama. But yeah, that's
Llama,
sorry I talked a little bit, but that's yeah.
All right, so I'm going to read some responses in the chat here. The cool guy instantly says a Lilo and Stitch live-action movie is still a better idea than Kim Possible live-action movie or a Dora the Explorer live-action movie. I think Kim Possible live-action movie is probably the best of the three. Dora Explorer, Dora Explorer is for kids. Like it's essentially the Smurfs. And yeah, like the Lilo and Stitch thing, I don't understand. I feel like they were telling some decent stories with the Cinderella retelling and the Beauty and the Beast one, even though people like Bibbs and Wendy Seibold think that Beauty and the Beast retelling is awful. Say what you want about his performance. Say what you want about the movie, but his performance is nothing short of incredible. I felt he had a good
to jump off of this Lilo and Stitch thing. I got into this with someone in a chat actually yesterday about this. The thing is the issue is I'm not against Disney remaking some of their anime movies into live action. What I have an issue with is they're going the cheap money route, which is they're taking already great animated movies and they're just doing scene for scene recreations because they know they're going to get people in the seats because they're going to get people who are like, oh, I love Beauty and the Beast. I want to see how they do the dancing scene. What they should be doing is taking animated movies that didn't quite work when they came out and bring them to an audience in a new way. Black Cauldron, Atlantis the Lost Empire, Treasure Planet are just 3 that I could think of that you could do in live action and you could put a new spin on it and it's not going to be scene for scene recreations, or if it is, it's not going to really piss off a lot of people because it's like, well, they're kind of underrated or unknown. And it just annoys me that it's just like, that's all they're doing. Like, personally, I haven't given a single cent in the theater to any of these remakes. I've waited until they've been on TV or Netflix to see them. Lion King, still don't get why you're doing that live action because, as I said in the old incarnation of this live show, it's not live action unless it's actual lions. If it's CGI animated, it still is animated, people. Okay? That's like saying Shrek is a live action movie because it's CGI animated. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It is literally National Geographic. But, like, some people have the ability. Like, Caleb Cole thinks that, again, I think Caleb's crazy, but he thinks that...
There's actually a lineup for that theory, so you're not the only one.
Beauty and the Beast, the live action, is better than the original, and I think that's just ludicrous and crazy and has no place. But
it has a place. It's his opinion, but like, listen, and I didn't hate that. Of all of them that have come out, that's probably my favorite. That's mostly because I thought Emma Watson was okay. I really enjoyed Luke Evans as a Gaston, but like overall, I'll take the animated one. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
it's shorter.
for me, I actually like the Beauty and the Beast live action remake just as much as the animated one. Neither one is better in my opinion, but I like them both the same. And I mean, to jump off this point again, like the pictures that they've released of the one picture that they've released of the Dora Explorer movie actually looks interesting enough to the point where I might actually go see it. I never actually was interested in Kim Possible, so I'm not really interested in that movie.
It's also a TV movie, to my knowledge, anyway. So
yeah, and I mean that's the other thing with this Lilo and Stitch one is it's really it hasn't been said if it's for theaters or their streaming service. So I mean, it's one of those ones which could only be seen by limited people anyway.
Echoing off of Matt's point, yeah, they should go back to the older movies, like Songs of the South. No, not Songs of the South. Okay, yeah.
Zippity, what the fuck, duh.
Yeah. Hey kids, you want to see Disney during?
Hey kids, racism is okay. Slavery was fine.
Yeah, no problem at all.
I'm surprised they're not going back to their further stuff. Like, I'm really surprised they haven't done Pinocchio. But I mean, look at like, yeah.
This is the main thing. They got to go with IP that has marketability that they can drive up as much as they can. Because, tell you the truth, once they get a hold of Fox's properties and whatever they decide to do,
oh dear Lord,
they're going to be having so much. So I think if they can just pull out as much as possible right now.
Cody, you are so right, because when you think about the movies they've chosen to do, they've done Cinderella and they've done Beauty and the Beast. They can market the shit out of that dress. They're doing Lilo and Stitch so that way they can have fucking Stitch shit in every store everywhere that make you go and see it.
They won't do Pinocchio because, no offense, Pinocchio is a great movie, but Pinocchio is scary. Like, I've shown, like, kids in my family that movie, and they all look at me like, what are you showing?
Why? Why, Cody? Why?
There's a movie that you guys are missing completely that they should do that would crush all at the at the Disney store. If you're gonna do live action animals, why haven't you done Fox and the Hound?
Because
that movie's depressing.
You want to make Jeremy cry again?
Hey, listen.
That movie is so sad.
It is.
Hey, Kurt Russell's in it, so
I couldn't see a live action Fox be sad when his mother drops him off and just drives away. I can't watch that. I'll die.
Because This Is Us has proven nothing that the public doesn't want to sit there and cry all day long.
Don't start me with This Is Us. Sue is rewatching This Is Us, and I'm half watching with her, and I'm like, it's so sad.
It is literally
Can I be that one guy? The only thing I've ever seen of This Is Us is a gif of Stallone when he was a guest star, and I haven't even seen the full episode of him. I probably should seek it out.
But yeah, my wife watches it, and I'm just like, she's like, you need to watch it. I'm like, I would rather ram ice picks through my eyes. I'm gonna be real honest with you. And I watched the first season, and I hate it.
After kind of analyzing the show, I think what makes it so sad is the score, because when you think about it, like, the music never stops in those shows.
Music sucks. Sorry, incorrect. It's that
who brought you here?
Hey, do you guys remember The Slap? Remember that show? Anyone?
Once you start loving a character and you find them and they look real, and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, this changes about him, and you're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh, good Lord, take a Xanax and get away from me. Like,
I'm also not gonna lie, Grey's Anatomy has that effect on me sometimes. I have come pretty close to crying during Grey's Anatomy. I love that show.
Hey, you guys have a good night. Somebody's going to be a new champ because I can't sit in the same panel as somebody that just uttered those words. There are 14 seasons. No doctor spends that much time in the hospital. They go to they work shorter
Hey guys,
shifts than that, and they don't sleep with everybody.
remember when Tony Danza was the boss? I remember. That's a good show.
Oh, Tony
Boss.
Danza.
That's a good boss. Yeah. That's a good
Do you
show.
do you want somebody to hold you closer, Tony Danza?
Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
Wow.
All right, so let's get back to the discussion point that I
like TV
hoping to
reviews
have.
with Cody in Brooklyn.
Marriage counseling with Cody in Brooklyn.
You're an asshole.
Sure. All right, so let's say that we are the casting directors for the George Carlin biopic. Who would you cast? Now, I have two choices and a controversial choice. My two non-controversial choices are Bradley Cooper and Matthew Modine. I think they both have potential to get his mannerisms right, and I feel like their stage presence would be phenomenal. My controversial choice, before it was revealed that he was masturbating in front of women on locked doors, I think Louis C.K. could have done a great job. But that's the big if he's let back into Hollywood, which I don't imagine he will be. It is what it is. But yeah, Matt, you have your hand raised.
Okay, so I have to give full credit to Mark Ellis on Collider Live. He brought this suggestion up, but then when I thought about it, he's literally a person who I think could kill it. Andrew Santino. If you've ever seen the Showtime show he was on, the name's escape right now, he's a really good actor, and he's also a really funny comedian. I think he has very similar comedic stand-up prowess to Carlin. But I think one, on the Showtime show, it was more of a drama than a comedy, so he showed his dramatic chops, which part of Carlin's story would be fairly dramatic. And the other thing is, the thing about this movie is you're not writing material, but you have to be able to deliver Carlin's material in a way that feels natural. Andrew Santino can totally do that. Like, Andrew Santino is perfectly fine with saying some of the stuff Carlin said in his career. I think he's also the perfect age to be able to, he can, depending on where they choose to like start the movie, I think he could play him in like his early to mid 30s and then put some like makeup on him and he could play Carlin a little bit older. So Andrew Santino is my choice.
Yeah. Malcolm.
Yeah, I mean, like as I said, depending on which era they go, John Lithgow could be an interesting choice for older George Carlin. But I was just looking at a picture of him, and I actually had a crazy idea, but I was just looking at him, and I'm thinking that George Carlin kind of looks a really old version of Kid Knapsack. So Kid Knapsack could be the interesting choice to play George Carlin in his prime, because he's got that kind of similar sort of humor as well.
Pander alert. Pander alert. Pander alert. Pander alert.
No, that's actually a good choice.
No, that's 100%.
It was mentioned. It was mentioned on Collider Live, wasn't it? That they were thinking like, oh yeah, Ken Knapsack would be a good one.
Was it? I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, Sandy.
You know what? It's so funny to me because George Carlin was so individualized. Like, he was George Carlin. Like, it's so hard to picture anybody else playing George Carlin. So I'm going to pick somebody that I think has the comedic timing and somebody who also has the ability to get into a character very deep, and somebody that idolized this particular person. And I think that he's the right age that you can young him down a little bit and make him, make him young. You got to remember, George Carlin's career was, when he really started to make it, he was already in his 30s. He really hit his stride in his 50s and his 60s. So I mean, then you could take this person, you could old them up a little bit. But my pick is Jim Carrey. I think Jim Carrey has the dramatic chops to be able to pull off those things, but I also think that he has the comedic timing to make it look real and not written. You know, like sometimes people get comedy written for them and then they read it and it doesn't really come off. I think that Jim Carrey has that ability to come off and be realistic on stage, which is what we're going to want to see eventually, is him on stage doing his stand up and doing stuff like that. So that's my pick to do it. But I mean, you could also go with somebody completely unknown and I'd be happy with it as long as they do it justice, right?
I just loved looking at Brooklyn's face when you said Jim Carrey and he about vomited all over himself. I thought it was very interesting. My pick. I'm sorry. Are you going to me next, or are you going to skip me?
No. I'll go to you next, but I will comment. No, not Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, for me, like, if I can rant for 2 seconds,
No.
George Carlin is semi-physical, but a lot of what his humor is the words that are coming out of his mouth. Where I was like if you watch any of Jim Carrey's stand up, like, he still has a lot of physical stuff. And I think it's the transition from going really physical to this very witty kind of thought provoking stand up is too much of a transition. But I'm probably the minority there. Cody, who would you cast George Carlin?
Sorry, Cody. I'm just gonna respond to that. I don't want Jim Carrey to play Jim Carrey playing George Carlin. I want him to do what he did with Man on the Moon. Like, that wasn't Jim Carrey that we saw on stage. He was portraying that character, and that character was dead on perfect. I think Jim Carrey could go into and play George Carlin and then have that look as real as George Carlin. It doesn't have to be, oh, it's Jim Carrey, so we got to expect him to fall down on the floor and flop around like he's, crazy. He'll be playing a role of George Carlin. And I just think that if you have somebody with comedic timing and the ability to pull that character off, and to get into it, I think that it's a good choice. But no, I totally respect you saying that, because he's not conventional for sure.
Yeah, we'll touch on that for a second. I think Andy Kaufman and Jim Carrey were a little closer than Carlin and him. But I agree, if Jim Carrey takes any role serious, I think he could honestly do a great job. I just don't know if that's where he's at in his career anymore. I'm one of the complete opposites on this panel. I don't want to see this movie as much as I love Carlin. And it has to be a comedian that does the part. And I know whatever studio takes it, I'm not comfortable with them making that decision. I think they'll make a decision. So, if I had to go comedian based, I'm 100% with Matt. I think that's a perfect idea. If not, even older Carlin, I think Lewis Black. Just because Lewis Black is perfect on rants and timing, and if you think of old Carlin, that's Carlin to a T. I just watched one today when he talked about stupid people, and he's like, you know who is? Stupid people, and blah, blah, blah. You can't do anything with them. And then there's dumb motherfuckers, blah, 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 blah. And guess what? If you don't like me, I don't give a shit. And that's Lewis. I think Lewis panned himself perfectly after Carlin. So, an older Carlin, he's got to lose weight, of course, because Carlin was very, very thin in his later years. But, gosh, I think if you want a biopic of Carlin, you have to touch it. It almost has to be 50-50. It has to be behind the scenes, because anybody that's read anything about Carlin, him and his wife had such a relationship that it pretty much crushed him afterwards.
That would be a huge part of the movie.
Yeah. And then you have to have that timing on stage. And it's just I'm not going to get mad on a rant here, but it's like Solo. When you have a person like Solo, you have that character in such high regard that anything less. But I'm also on the case that when you came up with Bohemian Rhapsody, I can't think of who's playing Freddie Mercury.
Rami Malek.
Yeah. If you were going back and said, hey, cast this person, he would have been my first choice. But my gosh, does he look? And that movie looks incredible. So you know what? If they do it justice, but if it's a slight bit off, I don't want to see it. It's just like a prior movie at this point. Those two, and I'm with Sandy. My dad sat me down at 8 years old and said, hey, listen to this comedian, and he played George Carlin, and that's the reason why you got me here today. Because good Lord, if he would have waited, I probably wouldn't be so angry all the time. But it's got to be perfect. If you're going to do it, it's got to be a comedian. I don't believe an actor can do it.
I want to jump off of Cody's point because I agree with that entirely, because I agree with what they said on Collider Live. I hate just copying them, but they had a really great discussion about this movie. It does have to be a love story. If you know anything about Carlin, him and his wife. And I mean, it could be, that's why I really want to see this movie, because it could be, one, it could be really funny. And two, it could also be a really sweet and charming movie about them meeting and Carlin doing his stand-up and all this. And that's why this is why the studio is never going to choose Andrew Santino, because one, most studios don't know who he is. And two, which is the dumbest thing in the world, most studios that they looked at Andrew Santino's stand-up would be like, we don't want this guy because he's too fucking crazy, which is who you want playing George Carlin. But I think that's why I chose Santino, because I hate the fact, I think it's like Last Up or so, I forget. I watched the show when it was on Showtime.
I'm dying up here.
I'm dying up here. Andrew Santino killed it in dramatic, which is why I think he could do this stuff with the wife. And when Carlin got political by the end of his life and everything, while also killing at the stand-up. And that's the thing, is that's the issue, is if we go just with a comedian, I'm not sure if they can handle the dramatic stuff. They might kill a comedy if we go with, like, I'm sorry, I like Bradley Cooper, but he might be able to go with the dramatic stuff, but I don't think Bradley Cooper can really do George Carlin's stand-up. That's just me.
You have a moment in this movie that will literally probably crush everybody in the theater, and it's passing of his wife. And if that happens, and just to see the arc from him afterwards, because, I mean, it crushed him. It literally did. It's out there, and you have to have such a strong person on this that can deliver him, and also those moments at home or on the road or the stuff between them.
Just the moment after. I mean, one of the sweetest Kevin Smith stories he's ever told about George Carlin is when he was casting Dogma, and he said, I wrote this part, and I wrote it specifically for you, and it's Farver Glick. And he says, George Carlin, this was like a little bit after his wife died. They're sitting at a table, and he's just like, he was still wearing his ring. And he went, the thing is like, priests, they can't be married, and I can't, I can't take this ring off. And so Kevin Smith he was like, can I put like a Band-Aid on or something? Kevin Smith was like, sure. That's why if you watch Dogma, he wears a Band-Aid around his wedding ring, because he refused to take it off even for a part in a movie. I mean, and that's why we need an actor who, it's not going to feel like a paint by numbers. Oh, this is the sad dramatic. We need to feel like, shit, this was a guy who found his other half and lost it.
All right. Very, very quickly, just a quick yay or nay. Shia LaBeouf as George Carlin. I know that's what it's coming up a little bit.
No.
I mean,
I don't think he couldn't pull the stand-up.
No.
It's instantly no, but prove me wrong, maybe. It's I guess sort of a challenge.
Do it. No.
Jessica Morgan has an interesting question, though. What if they went with the I'm not there approach, which I'm not too familiar with?
I think it was the Bob Dylan biopic in which he had 6 different...
Oh, yeah.
What? I don't know if it's what.
So 6 different people playing him?
Yeah.
No, I'm not okay with that.
No.
I'm okay with 2. I'm okay with 2.
I'm okay with a
older Carlin,
but
I don't want multiple. There's no time. I mean, unless you play him as a child and a teenager.
Well, here's the thing.
But that movie will be 7 hours long.
I'd almost argue 3 because for me, I think his stand-up goes into 3 phases. His stuff. His stuff like pre-1985, I guess, would it be, when it was a little bit cleaner. It wasn't super heavy, and then you could go into like the mid-90s where I think that's his best stuff, and then you would go post his wife passing away. That's where he gets super political, and I don't think it's that great.
But who at 85 to 90 couldn't play that same character?
Well, that's why I think the actor you cast to do
You
is
wouldn't
Mythos.
break
Listen, makeup in Hollywood has gotten so good. We could definitely take, again, I keep using my part, but we could take Andrew Santino, put him in a makeup chair for 8 hours, and he could look like he's near his 90s. But, I mean, personally, I think we might need two. Like, we might need to touch on his young self when he's just starting to stand up and then do, like, a flash forward to, like, his 30s when he really
That's why
started.
I picked
But
Lewis. I picked Lewis
Yeah.
near the end because that's when he became the rants like I'm talking about 90s and stuff when he was just
Mhm.
just didn't care, had and that's when you need somebody that can deliver a rant kind of monologue, comedic.
Yeah.
It's going to be an uphill battle whoever gets it. That's all I got.
Malcolm.
Lewis Black was the one that was anger in Inside Out, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, he was. A choice came up in my head just now, and I'm kind of curious to hear what your thoughts are, because it could work, but it also could not work. What about Kelsey Grammer?
Too old.
Think?
Too old. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
His voice
yeah.
doesn't. His voice. I don't think his voice will. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Too old to begin the training.
I mean, he's
I
got.
don't think he'll have the timing.
He's got the comedic timing. I mean, no, he's. I mean, no. I mean, he played Frasier, right? So I mean, he's
He's
got.
funny.
He's a funny
Too
guy.
old.
Frasier's not Carland. Frasier's like that.
No.
Frasier is him. It's his brand of comedy.
He's deadpan.
I
He's
feel like Kelsey would do well with the rants, though. I think that's where Carlin was his best.
maybe.
Yeah, I agree. I don't.
Christian
And
Harloff.
I mean, you look at like the de-aging technology, like you look at like Captain Marvel, how they're doing it with Sam Jackson, Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, how they're essentially turning De Niro and Pacino and Pesci back into their prime.
But here's the thing: we haven't seen that. We've seen that done for like a couple scenes. We have yet to see it be the main character for a big portion of the movie. We yet to see that work. It's never been done yet. We've had like a couple, like we've had a scene or a couple of scenes where it's like a side character, but like to have your main character, you haven't done that yet. Technology's just, I don't think it's quite there yet to where you could pull it off convincingly.
I kind of agree with Matt. I don't know if it's quite there yet. Close. I just don't. Like I said, I think you either go with somebody that's got comedic timing that can pull the role off, or you find somebody completely new that's not been touched before, and you just do a, young Carlin.
Matt Kearns.
Yeah, you just do a young Carlin coming up out of the ranks, where you can go back and forth to, back and forth from the past to the future. I don't know how you do it, but I think you can, and I think you can make a good movie. But Cody, you did bring up a good point. I mean, do we really need a George Carlin movie? As excited as I am to see it, is it just going to ruin the legacy of what we know of him if they do a shit job? Like, if they do a shit job, like, does that change our views of George Carlin?
I mean,
don't think so.
I'll go with the same argument, with the same thing as remakes. Like, what do you think about like how they're remaking like the Disney movies? Like, are they gonna ruin the image? No, because we still have the original stuff. So if this Carlin movie turned out to be a shit
Rhapsody,
we still have the
sucks as a
same
movie.
That's
If
true.
Bohemian Rhapsody sucks as a movie, Queen's still going to be one of my favorite bands. It just will have a shitty biopic movie made about it. But can we just?
I don't think
we
it will
all
ever
agree.
ruin
I
Carlin.
wish that a Robin Williams biopic would be announced because we all know Jamie Costa would play Robin Williams and he would be amazing in it.
I honestly believe. I think that will have a totally different impact if we do a Robin Williams. I think that movie is a lot darker than people realize.
Oh
I
yeah,
really do.
Totally.
But
now I wanted to listen to Live the Best.
I know, right?
Members when this was going to be a wrestling show? I members.
Remember?
That's a great segue as we get into the next portion of the show. If you saw the pictures that I put up earlier this afternoon, and just before we went live, this is going to be about our favorite wrestlers with the release of WWE 2K19, something like that. But yeah, to get into some of the discussions, I mean, like just like some wrestlers for me. I mean, I got into it like in the mid to early 2000s. So it was your Rey Mysterios, your Eddie Guerreros, your Rob Van Dams, Kane. I really liked the Unmasked Kane. I thought that was fucking unreal. The Edge was another favorite of mine. Nowadays, as much as I hate him, Miz is probably the best talker right now. And of course, I mean the Summer of Punk. Who wasn't a fan of CM Punk? But I think since we go to Cody last and lost, Cody. I'll go to Cody and then Sandy because I know Sandy went a lot of times with this show. It'll be like, oh, we mentioned this wrestler and this wrestler here, and then go Sandy. It's like, well, we mentioned all the ones that I wanted to talk about. So I'll go Cody and then Sandy. Cody, who are your favorite wrestlers? Like it matters.
Okay, so I kind of broke this down. Favorite wrestler, like in ring, there's no question. Shawn Michaels is the best in ring wrestler of all time. I will fight that bar none. The best that combined the two, that was the trash talker and wrestler. That is the 16-time world champion, Ric Flair. The limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. I think he is way underrated. Even if you go back and watch some of his older matches, Flair had such a flair about him. It's not even no question. 2000s, my absolute guy that got me into it, back into it full time, and that's the Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was the closest thing you got to a superhero. That when that glass broke and he walked down the thing, you knew if there was 4,000 people in that ring, 4,000 people are about to get a can of whoop ass, and there was no question about it. And my last one. I'm missing so many, but for what he's done for the business and everything about it, and got my favorite theme song of all time, and that is the Cerebral Assassin, Triple H. The man you hate, the man you can't stand, the man, he is such a technician. If I count down my top 10 matches of all time, I think Triple H is in about 5 or 6 of them. That's how great I think that man is. He is a precision wrestler and could sell and make anybody that looks bad in the ring an amazing wrestler, hands down.
All right, Sandy. Who are some of your favorite wrestlers? I'm actually kind of curious to hear yours.
Like, son of a bitch, Cody took all. Like, no, I'm just
I was waiting for that.
Oh yeah.
If we're just gonna jump through like the decades or the eras and stuff like that real quick. My favorite wrestler when I was growing up was Randy Savage, specifically because that's who I was with all of my friends when we played wrestling in the backyard, because my name was Sandy, so it was easy. I was Sandy Macho Man Savage. Oh yeah. That plus I love dropping the elbow on people. So I mean, the big elbow from the top room. But I mean, other than his like fantastical, character that he played, Randy Savage was an absolute animal when it came to one of the smaller guys that transitioned into the big guys game, where he was intercontinental champion, tag team, but then got moved up to champion level. So his contributions to wrestling can't go ignored. If we're going to go into the attitude era, Cody already mentioned Stone Cold. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. Is Stone Cold Steve Austin. His story is amazing. If you go and watch anything off the network where it has like his specials and stuff, go and watch his journey. Like talking about like that he was so poor while he was training that he went and bought a bag of potatoes, and he would have a potato a day, and that's what he was eating to try, to stay alive. Just remarkable stuff. I know I'm going to take a lot of groans over this, and I don't care.
John Cena came around in a time where there were no stars left. Everybody was gone. The Rock had pretty much moved on to good doing, and The Rock's contributions to wrestling can't be discounted either. He's awesome. John Cena is the face of the company for a reason. He earned it. He came as an absolute, raw rookie and the last guy to come out of OVW out of that big group, Brock Lesnar, Dave Batista, Dave Batista, Randy Orton, and John Cena, and all three of those other ones got up before Cena did, and then they threw him in there right with Kurt Angle, and we got the ruthless aggression. Don't take the John Cena being purple and green nowadays. He was the leader of the Chain Gang, where he would come out every single week and have a new rap battle against somebody he was facing, and they were hilarious and they were awesome and they were great. And then and as a person, you can hate John Cena as a wrestler all you want. As a person, he's over 400 wishes that he's done. He is absolutely there for the fans. That is why he won't change his character, because he's there for the fans. So enough about John Cena. But I think the one person that is going to get missed on this list, unfortunately, that I'm going to bring up is the most important person that has been with the WWE since the early 90s, and that is the general himself, the dead man, The Undertaker. He has been the locker room general. He is still the person that they go to do the wrestling court when somebody steps out of line. They get The Undertaker in there to feed him what his judgment is going to be, just like a good Undertaker. He has been there so many times. Cody just said it. If Triple H is going to be, a top 10 matches, then easily The Undertaker can be in just as many of those matches. One of my favorite matches is The Undertaker and Triple H at WrestleMania 17. Go watch it. It is fan-freaking-tastic, that match. So those are just a few, but I could go on for hours on all the wrestlers that I love, but that's it for me.
Matthew, who are some of your favorite wrestlers?
So, I've only gotten into wrestling fairly recently, kind of last year, thanks to Cody. I'm finally able to watch a little bit more. So my favorites are Randy Savage, pretty freaking awesome. From that same era, Roddy Piper, was just a freaking God. That man just was everything about like that early WWE, WWF wrestling. Also Hulk Hogan. God, he's awesome. Andre the Giant, of course. But my favorite wrestler is pretty much John Cena. From the matches I've watched, I like his character. I like what he does in the ring, his promos. He's all, and my favorite wrestling match as of right now is when he teamed up with The Rock to fight Miz and R-Truth. So those are my favorites. I'm fairly new to this, but Cena. Can't see me, Cody.
I can see you.
The master of thugonomics himself. Malcolm, who are some of your favorite wrestlers? I know you're an avid collector of the action figures, I believe.
I don't collect them. I've just got two figures. I've got Triple H and Finn Balor, which I got from one of my from when I got a collector's edition of 2K17. But I've got a lot of favorites. I came into this about 2008, around times when Jeff Hardy was really big. He's one of my favorite wrestlers at the moment. And when him and Matt returned back to WrestleMania, I marked so much for that because when it came out, I thought the New Day were going to say they were getting into this match themselves, but then the Hardys come out from behind them. This was one no one expected or saw. The Undertaker is definitely up there as my favorite, and I really wish I had the money to jump over the Tasman Sea so I can go to the Super Show that's happening in Australia on Sunday, and so I can see Undertaker kick the crap out of Triple H. Yeah, but DX has always been up there with me, even when they went crazy and hired Hornswoggle for whatever reason they wanted to. I still enjoyed watching them and watching all their WWE shop shilling and stuff like that. And to go back to the classics, Andre the Giant is definitely one that's always going to be up there for me.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you laughing about, Cody? Come on.
So my favorite GIF, whatever you want to call it, you shared it earlier with me. It's my absolute, it gets me every time because of Stone Cold, is when he's like cracking up and he just stares. Like, he just sent it to me again, and I about died. So sorry. No,
Right,
didn't mean to.
We're talking wrestling here, so I want to share with you my two favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin moments of all time, because he's my favorite wrestler. He's obviously Cody's as well. So the first one is when Mr. McMahon is in the hospital and he's got a busted up leg, and Mick Foley keeps on going in there and making a stupid mockery of the whole thing as Mankind. And then a doctor comes in, and because of all the stupid crap that Mick Foley's done, Vince McMahon sees nothing wrong with this. And it's like, and he turns around and he pulls his mask down, and it's Stone Cold, and he starts beating on his little leg with the bedpan. And then all of a sudden you hear this. Bong, and he hits him in the head with the bedpan, and all you can hear is the dong of it. Oh, and he goes down, and I rewind that about 9,000 times because that bong is the best part of the whole thing. It's just so good, just waxing with it. And then
Vince says it almost knocked him out. It
almost knocked him out, exactly. And my favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin moment of all time is the supermarket with Booker T. And when Booker T runs away and Stone Cold tracks him down and is beating his ass in every aisle known to man, and then calling it out, he's like, flour on aisle.
When he sings "When the Moon Hits Your Eye" like a big pizza pie and hits him with a piece of salami or something, fantastic. Sorry, Brooklyn, you can have.
I'm adding that to the list.
Hey, Booker got milk. As he comes out of there, it's so good. It's so funny that you can just watch it over and over again, and it just doesn't get bad. So those are some of my favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin moments. I swear, if you guys don't have the network, it's so worth it. Just go and get it to watch all these old things that we're talking about right now. It's so fun.
So now we go to the Bay, and we're gonna skip Brooklyn, right? Is that what we're doing?
Well, I already announced my favorite wrestlers, but I wanted to talk about like matches of recently that I think like for me right now, I think like of the main shows, NXT is probably the one to look out for, because I think it was last year. My favorite match, I think, of the let's say the decade. Match of the decade is probably Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano at NXT Takeover San Antonio 2. I think it was. It was. I caught that match in the middle, and I was like, my jaw dropped like the entirety of the match, and I believe that was because it was whenever Johnny had lost the match, but then Tommaso Ciampa came out with the crutch and started beating the fuck out of him. That is one of my favorite. Not matches, it's in contention for like one of my favorite matches ever. But what are some matches for, like, say, anybody here who anybody in the chat that hasn't watched wrestling? What's a match of recently that you would recommend, Cody?
The best match of all time. It's without question. No one can even argue it. From storytelling to actual pure wrestling to just brutality even. And that is Rock versus Austin 2 at WrestleMania 17. If you think of any other match, even Austin has come out and is not happy with what he decided to do at the end of it, it happened, and it's a fantastic storytelling of what built up for years in that business. WrestleMania 17 is the best pay-per-view that has ever been and probably ever will be.
It is the perfect storytelling, and it concludes on a 40-minute just beat down between Rock and Austin, back and forth, because those two sold each other's moves better than anybody else in the business. And if you have never seen that movie in match, please go watch it. It takes it just of wrestling. Not it doesn't it has chairs and stuff like that, but it doesn't like have high rope moves or anything. It's just they hate each other and you believe it throughout the entire match.
Oh, okay, I will check that out.
All right, Matt Kearns.
I already, again, I'm a newbie. I really like when Cena fought The Rock. I thought that was a really good match. But like I said before, my favorite match that I've been rewatching a lot has been when Rock and Cena teamed up to fight. Yeah, that I just from also if you're gonna watch that match, watch the conference they did before. I watched that first. It had me cracking up. And then the match itself, I thought had some really great moments. And the thing I loved most about it was Cena and The Rock were a team, but they were still their egos. It was still like the times when The Rock would like tap Cena in were so just like just the moment of there's a bit where Cena's just hanging on the rope, just waiting for The Rock to just like stop, and The Rock just won't do it, just won't tag him in. And then literally at the end of the match, I won't spoil it, but like at the end of the match, the Rock just walks out of the ring and just leaves Cena there, and it's fantastic.
Sandy, what's a match that you need to see?
Well, I in this instance, and it's not the only one because him and I see eye to eye on a lot of things. Cody is exactly 100% right. Austin Rock at WrestleMania 17. The buildup was so good. They used music. It was at the time in the Attitude Era where they were using music to, like Triple H did a little music thing to "Beautiful Day" from U2 about his rehab back into his back from his double quad tear that was one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen in my life when he ripped both quads off of his freaking knee and still finished the match. Doctors were saying that they couldn't believe that he was actually walking because you don't actually have any muscle attached there to do it. So it just shows you he was going on his hamstrings. That's how bad that was. But they used "My Way" from Limp Bizkit to show all these little vignettes about their journey to this match. It is so good, but Cody used it already, so I will go with another match that I love, and it is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. It often gets very, very overlooked because it was the Hogan Andre finally fighting each other in the big slam and the whatever, but that Intercontinental title match between Savage and Steamboat was an absolute textbook match on technical wrestling at its absolute peak. It was so good. The action, the drama, Miss Elizabeth getting involved, George the Animal Steel getting involved. It was just a fantastic match all over around. So if you have the network, go and look up Savage and Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. Absolutely fantastic match in a live open arena of the Pontiac Silverdome. It's so great.
Yeah. Malcolm, what is the match that you need everybody to watch? Wrestling, non-wrestling.
Cody, Matt, and Sandy all stole the one I was going to mention. But I'm going to go with my favorite one featuring the Dead Man, because the Undertaker's matches, especially his WrestleMania ones, are all ones that, with just ignore the one that happened last year, that really was a 2-minute waste of time. But most of the Undertaker matches have always been one that everyone looks out for. But my favorite of them is probably the second one when he faced Triple H inside the Hell in a Cell. This was a fun match to watch, and like even the emotional moment at the end where Shawn Michaels, and where it was just Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Undertaker just standing in the ring, knowing that it might be the last time we ever saw the Undertaker, which ended up not being in the end. But it's just the moment of just them all just sitting in there and shaking hands and embracing is just a moment that I really loved seeing in this match. Yeah.
I think Undertaker's best WrestleMania match, I think, is Shawn Michaels 2. I think that is the pinnacle of storylines. I would also argue that the greatest WrestleMania match ever was TLC. Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys. That is the evolution of tag team and where we are now. Yes, if you hate spot monkeys, I love spot monkeys. I love those spots. And I think that's where we don't get these great matches now without that. So we are now going to go into the debate portion. And actually, Matt is taking over the debate because I am hopping in the ring to get that belt either to myself or to Sandy. So bridesmaid Matt, let's kick it off.
Okay, so the first thing I need to do is wait. Oh fuck, this doesn't work. Cody, is he gonna have to fight?
Yeah,
Cody has to fight.
Okay, so Cody.
Apparently, that was a rule at one time, and then he stopped inviting enough people on to make that rule stick.
Because I just realized that. Okay, so Cody, since you are
everybody happy, I can dump out and just.
No, I actually need there to be 4 people to have it make sense. So Cody, since you're the champ, you can pick your number first. Pick a number between 1 and 4.
I'm gonna go 4.
Okay. Sandy, pick a number between 1 and 3.
I'm gonna say 1.
All right. Brooklyn, you're the host. Pick a number between 2 or 3.
I'll say 2.
All right, and Malcolm, you're number 3. So, first round matchups, we have Cody versus Sandy. Then we have Brooklyn versus Malcolm.
Oh.
All right, so Cody, since you're
champ,
champ, you get to go second. So, here we go. Brooklyn, you're the host. So, for your questions, pick a number between 1 and 4.
I will pick number 1.
All right, number 1. Roddy Piper fought Mr. T in a boxing match. So what boxer, real or fictional, do you want to see in a WWE boxing match?
Mike Tyson.
Okay. Remember, real or fictional. So you can go crazy if there's a fictional boxer. You can go.
Manny Pacquiao.
All right. So we have Manny Pacquiao versus Mike Tyson. Malcolm, I heard you first. So you will have 20 seconds. Time starts whenever you start talking.
I mean, Mike Tyson has always been involved with the WWE, like whether it's been enforcing stuff and that. So getting him into a boxing match in WWE will be really easy because Fizz will come in and so.
Sorry. All right.
I'm gonna step in here 1 second. As I generally give the competitors a 5 count just so that they know when they're coming up.
That's what I did.
I didn't even see it at all.
Really? I'm sorry. I thought I did not. Well,
I don't know.
Do it a little bit closer.
Okay. Sorry.
Just say 5 at one point. Just say 5
okay.
at one, and then you'll be fine.
All right. So 20 seconds. Brooklyn, your time starts whenever you start.
Manny Pacquiao would fit into a brand that needs to grow. That is the cruiserweight division. Cruiserweights are very, very high flying, so this would be a good change. Manny Pacquiao would be a very grounded character. We've already seen Mike Tyson in WWE. He did it one time. That's fine.
4, 3, 2. You had you fucked up yourself.
I did the Chris Clark method.
You did the Chris Clark. All right.
Can I get clarity on the question? Is it a boxing match?
it is a WWE boxing match, which if you watch the Rowdy Rodder and Mr. T one means it's a boxing match, but there's really no fucking rules because at one point Roddy Piper just picks up Mr. T and just throws him onto the ground.
Just check.
Okay, so Malcolm, your 15-second rebuttal begins whenever you start talking.
I mean, Manny Pacquiao is someone that may do well, but whether he's available or not, it's definitely
time. Yeah. All right, Brooklyn, your 15-second rebuttal begins whenever you start talking.
Malcolm said it himself. Manny Pacquiao would do well. Manny Pacquiao has quite the presence, whereas Mike Tyson, he was cool in the 80s, but now he's seen as this weird sort of gimmicky guy with a tattoo, and like everybody knows him from The Hangover from now. He's dated.
Time. All right. Interesting matchup. Champ, I'm gonna go to you first. Who do you choose between Brooklyn and Malcolm?
Gosh, I wish I would have faced Brooklyn this one because I would have probably destroyed him. I think the cruiserweight thing was – I think Malcolm missed a golden opportunity with cruising when it was like boxing in general. And like Manny Pacquiao has never proved that he could fly around the ring, so that would be a terrible division to throw him in. But Malcolm pretty much conceded the point, so I have to give Brooklyn the edge.
All right, Sandy, Brooklyn or Malcolm?
Yeah, if it was going to be throwing a boxer into a wrestling match, maybe Manny Pacquiao is a draw. Against one of the cruiserweights, one of the 205 guys that's a dummy to throw in there and get beat up like they did with Floyd Mayweather and put him up against Big Show and broke his nose, and then almost died because Big Show was really mad. I think Brooklyn's argument was like, if we're basing it on an argument, which is what we should be, I think Brooklyn made more of his argument in his opening statement and was able to counteract, why it wouldn't be a good idea to have Mike Tyson back there because he's turned into a wackadoodle. So I got to give the point to Brooklyn.
Yeah, Malcolm had a really good opening, but his rebuttal just didn't quite save him from Brooklyn, which had a really good rebuttal and opening. All right, now we have Cody and Sandy. Cody, you're the champ, so you pick a number between 2 and 4.
I'm going to let Sandy pick the number.
Oh, okay. Sandy, pick a number between 4. 3. All right. Ooh, this is a fun one for you two. My 2 favorite wrestlers are John Cena and Hulk Hogan. So in their primes, who would win the match?
John Cena.
Hogan.
All right. I heard Sandy first with Cena. Sandy, your 20-second opening starts whenever you start talking.
In a straight-up wrestling match, John Cena beats Hulk Hogan hands down. Power for power, John Cena matches anybody in the world. He's that strong. Hogan only had 3 moves. Big punch, kick, leg drop, and it was over. At least John Cena has a little bit more of a repertoire. Plus, he's got some submission moves in there, too. So he's going to win that match on submission and power.
All right. Cody, your 20-second opening starts whenever you start talking.
If we go over both these wrestlers in their prime, they both have so much control over front office, it's not even crazy, but Hulk Hogan had the better edge. Hulk Hogan back in the prime, he even put on a fantastic match against The Rock. Cena has lost a ton of weight, especially he's gotten better over age. In his prime, he was very weak and very rusty. He could barely hold up against JBL. Hogan was slamming and having great matches with Macho Man and...
All right. Sandy, your 15-second rebuttal starts whenever you start talking. I don't know how Brooklyn does this every week.
Whenever you start talking.
When you start talking. Yeah, whatever. I'm using a stopwatch, so don't get mad at me. I feel like you guys are looking at me like, God, Matt's going really fast, but I'm using a stop.
You're fine.
All right. both of them in their primes. It wasn't when John Cena's prime wasn't when he first came into the WWE. It was a bunch of years later. He was strong. He was good. Hogan was already almost past his prime during the 80s done, and he still wasn't that great a wrestler. And if you're telling me that the Hogan and the Rock had a great match.
All right. Cody, your 15-second rebuttal starts when you start talking.
His prime was WrestleMania 21. That's when he went on a streak and never lost after that. I'm talking about Hogan. But the one thing you're passing in his prime, that's the pump up. And he'd get down and all automatic pump up, do the leg drop, do the kick. He walk off winner because Hogan can't stand a loss, and the WWE couldn't stand a loss with Hogan in the prime.
All right. This was a really well fought match. I'm gonna go to Malcolm first. Malcolm, who won the debate between Cody and Sandy?
Yeah, this was really close, but I think that Sandy took it in the rebuttal when he said that Cena's got more, that Hulk Hogan only has 3 moves in that, and I'm messing up the order, but and also I think he also brought up the good point that Cena in his prime wasn't when he first came in, was a few years later. So, I mean, I think that Sandy gets the point on this one.
Wow. The world's opening, dogs and cats living together. Malcolm just chose Sandy in a debate. All right, Brooklyn. Cody or Sandy, who won the debate for you? Dear God, make it easy on me.
I'm so torn because you could make arguments for either competitor. Now I'm just talking out loud here. I'm thinking out loud here. Sandy's opening, talking about how John Cena has a more versatile moveset, whereas Cody was really heavy in the opening about how it's like his control of front office and how WWE doesn't like whatever Hulk loses, especially in this prime. Man. Based on, I'm going to give it to Cody based on how he defended Sandy's rebuttals. I thought he handled the rebuttals well and was able to throw in a jab about where we weren't really sure where John Cena was in his prime. I'm gonna give it to Cody, but in all fairness, I'm probably giving this to Sandy. It's literally hairs.
All right. This is really hard. I don't want to go. I have an answer, but I don't want to say it. Sandy won it because Cody, to me, from what I heard, and I could be wrong, he wasn't able to really fight back the fact that Hogan in his prime only had 3 moves in his set, whereas Cena was more versatile. That kind of won it for me. You guys both have great arguments. It was a fantastic fight. So I'm giving it to Sandy. I'm so sorry, Cody, that your prediction was correct about my questions. So sorry. All right. So now we have
2 wrestlers
Brooklyn.
I hate more than anybody else I had to debate. So it's okay to lose on that one. I'm fine with it.
Okay. We have Brooklyn versus Sandy.
Good luck, Sandy.
Sandy, you were the champ at one point. I'm not sure if Brooklyn ever was.
I was.
So you get to pick. Choose a number between pick number 2 or number 4.
All right. Well, my first hockey number was 2, so I'll go 2.
Fuck, cool. I wish you were going 4. We're definitely gonna have Cody and Malcolm fight number 4 because I love it so much. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna give you guys, just to let you know, I'm gonna give you guys 25 seconds in your openers because, all right, so John Cena, Hulk Hogan, and Roddy Piper are just some of the wrestlers who have made the jump to the big screen. So, which wrestler should get a biopic made about them? All right, The Rock.
Mick Foley.
All right. Rock biopic versus Mick Foley. Now, again, just because you're pitching a movie, I will give you guys 25-second openers, but you will still have 15-second rebuttals. Keep that in mind. Sandy, I heard you first. Your 25 seconds starts whenever you start.
The Rock is a great choice for a biopic because The Rock has been through so many ups and downs in his careers, through his dad being a wrestler and traveling all over the country and him not really having a home, to the fact that he went to college, got a scholarship, and was able to go to the University of Miami, and then he couldn't even make it to the jump to the NFL. He had to go to the CFL, got cut from the Calgary Stampeders, was living, on a mattress somewhere in somebody's home, and then went and asked his dad to help train him to go into the WWE.
Time.
That's a great story.
All right. Brooklyn, your 25 seconds start whenever you start.
Mick Foley had the true struggle of throwing himself around just so people would get entertainment. You could talk about the aftermath of all of the concussions that he had. You could talk about the fall of the aftermath, Undertaker and Hell in a Cell. I would also have Matthew Modine play Mick Foley. You could talk about his early stages from ECW, WCW, all the characteristics that he had of Mankind, Brother or Do Love, and Cactus Jack. There's so many possibilities.
All right, good openers, good openers. All right, Sandy, your 15-second rebuttal starts whenever you start talking.
The problem with the Mick Foley biopic is that it's just going to be that. It's going to be him getting beat on throughout the entire movie. That's what he was known for. The Rock has made the successful jump from being almost nowhere to movie and a huge movie star. Seeing his life story played out on screen is only...
All right. Brooklyn, your 15-second rebuttal starts whenever you start.
Yes, because everybody wants to see The Rock rise to fame because his dad was a wrestler. Mick Foley had to struggle to find his character, going through multiple personas, multiple brands, and even after his big stint going to TNA, trying even more things. There's so much diversity.
All right. This was a really well-fought match. Cody, as the former champ, pick between these two.
I hate both these people.
So no bias.
I don't know.
But I really can't be biased because I despise both of them. One beat me and one is Canadian. Oh, but actually both are. This sucks. And this is no fault to Matt. I judge pitch round questions different. I do the buy the ticket. It's how I've always done it, and I can't sway. It's based on the arguments and what you presented and which movie I'd buy, and I have to give Brooklyn the edge. I think you won in the rebuttal with saying that, oh, cool, we get to see The Rock rise to fame about his dad being a wrestler, even though that's false from the choice. You used it as your closing, and that's a huge dig. So I have to give Brooklyn the edge.
All right, Malcolm, Brooklyn, or Sandy?
Yeah, this is tough because as soon as Sandy said The Rock, I thought that was a slam dunk choice of a biopic. But Brooklyn's argument was really good, and it's like, not that I'm saying Sandy's was, because Sandy's had a really good argument as well for The Rock, but I'm gonna have to give my point to Brooklyn because just because, like, in his argument he brought up a lot of the points he did fought against with Sandy, because he mentioned that like that The Rock's biopic would be showing him rising to fame, and while that would be a good thing, he also mentioned that Mick Foley has had a good lot of struggles to get to where he was. So I mean, and just with that point alone, it was enough for me to sway just slightly to Brooklyn's side, but it was a really close match either way.
And your winner and the new some fucking title I don't know.
Late
offhand
night
is
with Take
Brooklyn
3,
Bell.
mini speedrun debate champion of the Worldwide Movie Games Association of America. Held by Canadian.
Is
That
Brooklyn
means
Bell.
somebody else. That means
I
somebody
will
else
say-
has to write the questions next week.
I will say this. I thought I was confident in my answer as soon as I gave it, and as soon as Brooklyn said Mankind or Mick Foley, I'd went fuck, and I had to save it. I had to save it because I almost did this. When you picked that one, and I knew that would have just give it away right there. I was like, so yeah, I would pay to go and see a Mick Foley movie. So it was the absolute right choice to pick Brooklyn as a winner. So yeah, no, that's fine.
All right. And now we have the fun part, which is we have a leftover question. We're going to make the two runners up fight. So Cody versus Malcolm. And this is your
Do I get an
question.
automatic rematch? Can you write a question and I face Brooklyn?
And God, I love this question so much. And this is such a me question. I love this question. Okay. The 1980s saw the rise of the WWE and action movies, and two of the biggest stars were Stallone and Schwarzenegger. Who would win in a WWE match in 1986?
Stallone.
Schwarzenegger.
Right. Well, you only have one choice there, Malcolm, so I'm glad you won. All right. So, Cody, you picked Stallone. Your 20 seconds starts whenever you start.
What year was it?
1986. I just picked a random ass year.
Okay, that's fine. Stallone has the huge charisma that sold in the '80s a lot, and he would be the main draw. And it'd be too foreign. It'd be the Americans. He can come in as the Italian stallion and totally dominate. Schwarzenegger could be probably a heel, and heels never won really back in the day. So Stallone would actually have taken it just because probably quick movesets.
All right. Malcolm, your opening for Schwarzenegger. 20 seconds starts whenever you start.
Yeah, I think Schwarzenegger will win in a fight because he's known as the muscles from Brussels. I mean, he's a strong guy. He may not be able to cut good promos, but this isn't about promos. This is about fighting, and I think they both have different styles.
All right, I'm not saying anything. Cody, 15-second rebuttal starts whenever you start.
I 100% disagree with you. The 80s were full of promos. If you couldn't do a promo, you had to have a stupid gimmick, and you got to be squashed every match. Stallone could literally go out there and do all his little one-liners and take him down. Plus, he'd have a high-powered offense. It would beat Schwarzenegger.
All right, Malcolm, your 15-second rebuttal starts whenever you start talking.
Yeah, but the 86 was Schwarzenegger in his prime. Schwarzenegger will be able to take down Stallone easily.
Time. All right, I'm going to go first on this one. Malcolm, I love you. Two things. One, Jean-Claude Van Damme is a muscle from Brussels. Schwarzenegger's from Austria, for God's sakes. Two, Cody won it. He had a great opener. The fact that heels never really won in the 80s. Stallone would be a face. Schwarzenegger would probably be a heel. Also, Malcolm, I love you, but it happens. Your rebuttal was a little messy, whereas Cody was strong through his opening and his rebuttal. Brooklyn, who would you choose in the debate that really doesn't mean anything?
You know, Cody proved that he is a former champion for a reason. He had a great opening, and he had a solid argument. It's a shame that he is no longer champion, but I give Cody the points.
All right, Sandy, your vote that didn't even really matter because it's not really counting for anything. But who would you have picked?
Well, I mean, if it hadn't been for the Brussels the muscles from Brussels comment, I might have swung my vote towards Malcolm on this one. But I mean, there were so many opportunities with Schwarzenegger that you could have used. I mean, size alone, Schwarzenegger beats up on Stallone. It just would happen. but yeah, so I have to give the point to Cody on this one, simply because Schwarzenegger is not the muscles from Brussels.
Yep. So there it is. There's probably the last time that I ever write questions for the debates.
Oh no, they were solid questions.
Yeah.
Wonder why, champion.
And I mean, there's a reason why I'm never going to compete in a Stallone Schwarzenegger trivia match.
Man,
so what you're saying is Artie and Sly is one of your weaknesses?
I'll keep that in mind as one of my strengths.
Nice.
So I guess since no one can do it for him, I'll do it because I'm the former champion. Let's throw it over to the new blah 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 Brooklyn Vale. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling dandy. I was not thinking that I was going to win this championship. I was actually. I wish Sandy and I could have went longer because I really feel like Mick Foley. I was actually torn between.
One of us set up the arbitrary times, and it wasn't me. Brooklyn.
No. Like there are some questions like when I'm writing the questions, there are some questions where I'm feeling like say if the two certain people like get a certain question, I feel like it'd be like we could go on for like hours and hours, and this would be a great sort of talking point. But yeah, I'd be curious to hear what everyone else has to say for biopics. I was actually really torn between Sting, Ric Flair, and Mick Foley. But I figured I could argue more Mick Foley than I could Sting or Ric Flair. But I'm kind of
cut winner.
So yeah. So were you going to pick Mick Foley as well?
No.
Who would you have picked?
I would pick Bret the Hitman Hart. If you're going to do a biopic of somebody that went through so many struggles from losing his brother to the Montreal Screwjob to being in WCW to making his way back and being friends with Vince again or being on good terms with Vince, that's a clear cut. Like that story brings tears to everyone's eyes right there because literally lost his brother. Then a few years later gets screwed out of the WWE and sent on his way, and to be back and fight Vince at WrestleMania, that's just icing on the cake.
I would have went with this wrestler. He wasn't really that well known, but I think his story would be interesting from the early 2000s. He was called the Human Spider. I think it just have a really interesting staying power, you know.
Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah, I mean, if there wasn't already talks of a Vince McMahon biopic, I probably would have gone him. But
puff piece.
Okay.
But I mean, but the other one that I would have gone with is Andre the Giant. I mean,
I'm surprised no one picked him.
I still have to watch that HBO like the little documentary, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one picked him because
his HBO special does it justice. He doesn't need a movie. But
okay. Good enough. Yeah. Well, there it is, guys. There's the debates that I wrote questions for, and Cody's prediction.
We have actually, for the first time in a while, surpassed the 2-hour mark. So I'm impressed. So I do want to thank the entire.
When's my rematch?
For a great show.
Week.
Your rematch next week.
I mean,
or wait, you're not going to be here next week, are you?
Wait, who's going to write questions?
Is everybody's Wi-Fi dying, or is that mine?
I mean, depending on what the topic is.
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what the topic is going to be.
Well, it's going to be one of those weeks.
When's my rematch? I didn't hear that.
When you come back.
Whenever you come back.
Oh, I'll be here next week.
You'll be here next week? Okay. So, to the former 6-time defending champion Cody Newberry, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Cody Newberry. You can find me on the new page I'm starting that I Hate Brooklyn Vale. Please come join and be a member.
You'll probably get like a good crowd there.
Yeah, some crowd I don't want. And then you can find me on Wednesdays on watch-alongs. We're doing Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi, next week. So if you want to be, if Take 3 members on this chat want to be on there, please let me know, and we'll put you on there. you can find me on Sundays being the grumpy old man in the corner on Malcolm's show of Rankum, and pissing everyone else off. And then you can find me here next week redeeming myself and winning the title back, hopefully, unless Matt writes questions, and then that'll be a while. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, you can find me. I am helping run Full Metal Geek, and we have a bracket coming out tomorrow to describe what's happening with that tournament. So join in for that and get excited because we're gonna punch out a lot of videos coming.
I'm not in the tournament. Yes, sir.
Sorry, buddy.
That's on me. I sucked in life.
It was Sandy. He screwed you, not me.
He did. He promised me Star Trek, and I didn't get it. Thanks, Jen. Love you, though.
So, Matt, the question writer today, and the bringer of the news. Where can the cool kids of the world find you?
You guys, as always, can find me at why did I have that odd pause? What's wrong with me? You guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovie611 YouTube, and right here as co-host of Rhyme and Reason with Sandy Robinson. Episode 2 will be dropping this weekend. Had some exporting issues last weekend, but we'll be talking about top 5 sports movies this upcoming Saturday. You can also find me possibly still as the intermediate host of the summit. I don't know. I feel like this episode coming up might be Thunderdome between me and Kristen Smith. Who the hell knows? And you can find me here pretty much every week. I guess instead of being a bridesmaid, I'll write questions from time to time. But yeah, great show tonight.
Yeah. To the runner up for tonight's matches, Sandy the Sandman Robinson. Where can the cool kids of the world find you?
Always a bride, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Always. The good kids of the internet can always find me over on Facebook and YouTube at Full Metal Media Live. You can also see me on Take 3 with my partner, like Matt Kearns just said, co-hosting Rhyme and Reason. We are dropping our favorite sports movies episode. Watch that, please. You can see me doing reactions on a bunch of different places, and you can find me on Facebook and Twitter at srobinson1799. Thanks so much, guys. Had a fun time tonight.
To the producer today, the man behind the scenes, and our news writer. Very thankful for the news that he gathers up. Malcolm Lay, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
You can find me on Take 3 Productions, hosting Rankum every Sunday night. We're starting this coming Sunday is the first week of the month-long of horror specials, and we're doing Stephen King adaptations. And you can also find me competing in trivia all over the place, whether it's Schmodown trivia, movie trivia, on all sorts of platforms. You can also find me at Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust at Melkor.
And last but definitely not least, I am the Black Letter Brother. You can find me right here on Take 3 Productions, running not one but 2 shows. Mondays, you can find me at Jukebox Trivia, where we do various trivia, debates, and playlists. Be sure to check out that we did one on Monday. Myself and Jim Green did our favorite Foo Fighters songs. Next week, I'm still torn as to whether or not we're doing a video because Monday is Canadian Thanksgiving. So we'll be eating lots of turkeys and getting on my eating pants. So there might be one, but I don't be surprised if there isn't. You can also find me here on Take 3, or on Thursdays when I would Take 3. We go live every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And of online matches recently, multiplex. I was in Sports Battlefield taking on Take 3. Huge fan, Jonathan Peck. I fought him, and it was a pretty fun battle. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you think that you could take on me, you cannot compete because this is pretty well a Take 3 thing. So yeah.
That was Brooklyn doing this.
You just laid it out.
You see the gate? You can't get in.
Yeah, this is a somewhat gated community. But yeah, if join the Facebook page. You can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram as at the real BK10. Thanks for tuning in, guys. That is Cody. That is Kearns. That is Sandy. That is Malcolm. I am Brooklyn. Cheers, guys, and as always, drive safely.
Drive unsafe.
Bye-bye.
Brooklyn!